So I'm continuing to work on these greaves that I did the ankle on in one of my previous videos. Normally I'd have this planished, creases in and so on before I'd add the ankle. We did it that way around because that's where we were at the time when the thought crossed my mind. So what I've started to do anyway is start to planish down the front. It's kind of gone from the roughed out phase, so having its first sort of pass planishing, and then what I'll do later is I'll pass a quick grit across this just to lift out the dinks and dents I can see, touch them back out with a hammer and press on. But something that crossed my mind that can happen when you're planishing, I've had a couple of folk contact me recently. I was quite surprised actually. Somebody rang me up talk about planishing, which is no problem. Planishing takes a long time to master. It isn't simply just a case of hitting it with a hammer. You can move the material, you can do all sorts, get it right and get it wrong, and it can take a right old long time. I tend to try and planish from the inside using, if I can find one, what we got, a selection of hammers, here we go. So I've got one like this, which I use on the inside, one like that as well, there's curved heads there, to get onto the inside. And what that can do is it can take something that is that shape, and because you're working the inside, you're expanding that material on the inside a bit more than you are the outside. Also you're hitting it with a curved head, so what can happen is it starts to spread and curves around that way. So we've got a nice tight fit on these greaves when I started, but what's happened, because I've been planishing on the inside, is it's over tightened. You can see there, so if I just spend a couple of moments just trying to wrestle these back in, you can see how that should be sat inside, and it becomes problematic. And imagine doing this whilst you're getting ready for whatever you're doing. You're going to end up pinching something, your leg will be trapped in there. It will be quite painful, so we just need to ease it off a bit. We want a nice contact fit, but we don't want it too tight like this. And what I used to do when I had these problems is I was open it up more or less along the edge. But very often a lot of the planishing work doesn't happen along this edge, it happens through this, and that's where the curvature can come. And I can see actually that my curvature that I need to just ease off is down that ridge. Not so much on this side, a little bit down there, but you can see by the finish, just there's a wee bit of a gap and it's a bit tight there. But this one I can see it, I can actually see it on the metal there, a bit easier probably than on the camera. Just about see it, looking at the light here. So rather than work the end out, because what that can do is it can create a completely misshaped piece of equipment, so we're still tight here, but then we're just flapping around in the wind on the back here. I want to ease it all back out. So I'll take a look at how to do that. It takes a few hammer blows. It's nice and straightforward and it can save you hours of misery. So I'm back with the greave, and this is the edge I want to work. What's happened is where we've curled it, it's going back on itself, but that back is starting somewhere along that line. The turn is beginning along here. Rather than put it flat on something and just push that edge back, which will get you the fit, but it won't be right because you'll have a high part here. What I'll do, let's find something relatively flat. It doesn't have to be a stake like this, it can be the end of an anvil, it can be a cylinder, it can be anything that you can get inside. Now I don't want to hit it on the mark, that's not going to do very much for me. So I've found that's where the point is. I tend to just come slightly off and make my way along an even set of strokes. Not too hard because I want to smash this down. Check I haven't put a trough into that, don't want that to happen. So I don't want a line down there, I just want to ease it off. So it's happened a bit there, so just touch that back. I'll go and give that a try, just from that, see if it works. Now sometimes take a couple of passes, but I've not done anything subsequent off camera, and we'll just take a look, see how it's opening it up, if indeed it is. Now all this has got to be tidied up yet, but there we go. And there we have it. So, fits quite nicely. Just want to check that the high point is along here, which it is. So there we go. Nice and easy. A little bit of tidying up to do just here, I can spot, but that's for a separate thing. I'll do that afterwards. You can see, if you need to get this edge away, very often the bit you need to work is a couple inches in. Don't just work, sometimes it's the right place, but very rarely I found, don't just work the edge along here, actually work further in, and it will lift it up and preserve that curvature that you've put in there that's nice, rather than lifting that out like that. What you do is you work here and you flatten that and it just lifts it that perfect amount that you require. So there you go, a little tip on how to get your greaves nice and tight.